Hey, welcome back. It's time for another Trinity video. We're talking about the energy of transformation today because this week at Adawehi we will be meditating on transformation. We hope that you will join us Wednesday night. If you're not familiar with what we do here, I'm trying to give you a physical thing that will help you anchor the energy that we're going to be meditating on. Most of these things are drawn from my experience in martial arts, so they're probably useful in a self-defense sort of setting, but they're also hopefully going to help you really get a feel for what the energy is like in your daily life. Transformation for me is centered on an teaching that I got from my very first karate teacher, Sensei Uchida. Somebody in the class asked him about bullies. They felt unsafe. And this is pretty common when people take a martial art. It's usually because they have some sort of fear that they'll be attacked and the people are meaner and bigger than them, and et cetera, et cetera. So he had a great answer, and it stuck with me all these years. He said, if you look at an opponent or a bully and you think, oh, this person is bigger than me, they're faster, they're stronger, they're meaner, they're 200 pounds heavier than me, I'm doomed, then yeah, you're going to fail. You're going to get your tail whooped in that particular encounter. But if instead you say, well, wait a second, their kneecap, I could kick that. Is my leg stronger than their kneecap? Of course it is. Well, they might grab me. Well, I could bite their hand. Or are my teeth stronger than their skin? Well, yeah, of course that they are. Well, they might come at me and try and grab me. I could poke them in the eye. Are my fingers stronger and tougher than their eyeball? Yes, of course they are. If you reframe a situation so that you're talking about what you do bring to the table instead of what you don't, your strength instead of your weakness, then you have transformed it. It is the proverbial problem turning into an opportunity. You can transform any situation by getting focused on the strength that you do bring to it rather than the problem or weakness that you perceive to be present. If you were a metaphysically inclined person, you might say, focus on your dharma instead of your karma. But in martial arts, we just think in terms of our strengths. Your strengths, whether they be a finger poke or a knee kick or a bite, are what you're going to transform the situation with. If you instead say, yeah, but look at all of the things they're better than me at. They're stronger, they're faster, they're meaner. Then you're not going to transform that situation. You're focusing on what you don't have. No transformation will happen. So, to get this message into your subconscious, I'm going to do what Mitsushita taught us to do. And he said that you should take a Post-it note, just a regular Post-it note like this, put it on the wall somewhere in your house. Bam, just like that. Whenever you walk by, put it in your hallway or someplace that you pass by a lot. You're going to practice the eye poke, which I think is one of the best techniques that a smaller, weaker opponent can employ against a big, hulking bully. Because no matter how many weights you pump, your eyeballs are not going to get tougher. They are always vulnerable, even in the biggest, meanest person. So just practice poking your fingers right at that Post-it note. Now there's a million ways you can do that. I was originally taught to put 2 fingers together. But later on in some of the other martial arts I took, like Kempo, you're told to keep your fingers spread. It's kind of the shotgun approach. You know, one of them's going to hit. So you can do like that. Bam. You can do like this with the 2 fingers. In my martial art that I designed, the Trinity self-defense system, I use the thumb. So you can do like that. Whatever works for you. Try different things. See which feels more natural to you. But every time you walk by this thing in your hallway, practice just sticking your finger up. Touching that. Putting a little bit of force into it. Getting used to the idea that you're bringing your strengths to a very small, specific area. You're targeting a weakness, a karma in the situation rather than looking at the whole big situation and being overwhelmed. This will retrain your subconscious. it might also save your life, because you'll get very good and fluid, and next time somebody grabs you and starts to pull you into a car, your hand will just automatically go up and you'll poke their eyes without thinking about it. And they won't know what to do because it's so fast and so smooth. You've just trained it over and over and over again. And it won't be jerky. You won't go, You'll just go, bam, and they'll go, ah, and you'll run away. Super good self-defense technique, but also super good at retraining your subconscious to focus on what you do have instead of what you don't have. When you get really good at that, when you can hit it all the time without even thinking about it, get yourself a Sharpie and take that same post-it note, or another post-it note if this one's worn out, and put your big problem on there that you're worried about. Say, for instance, you are just tired. You need a vacation so bad, but how's that going to happen? Money's tight. COVID's all over the place. You don't know where you could go, even if you had the money to go, and you don't really have the time to get away, and there's nobody that can watch the cat, and all that stuff stops you. That's the big what's not there. Instead, just put the name of your problem on that post-it note, and when you walk by every day, just 3, 4, 5 times a day, 10 times a day if you put it in a place near your door and maybe you go in and out a lot. Just focus on putting some energy into that problem. Think, I'm bringing my strength to bear on this problem instead of all my weaknesses, all my lack of time, lack of money, lack of support, all of those lacks, all of those things you don't have. Wipe them out of your mind and just think, I'm bringing my strengths to this problem. Every time you go by, it'll change your subconscious and it will transform the situation for you. If you think this stuff's cool, you should stay tuned for more Trinity.